So why is the new Toyota Tacoma better than the previous Toyota Tacoma? Meaning, why is the 4th generation Tacoma, the redesign, better than the 3rd gen? Or what areas does it excel in as compared to the 3rd gen? There's a lot of chatter out there, and everybody is nitpicking the new Tacoma, picking things that it either doesn't come with, it doesn't have, which really are all a part of packages. I mean, you can get, I believe, almost everything, if not everything, that the 3rd gen has for the 4th gen. You just have to buy it in packages. Now, that is one true negative, right? Because it's going to cost you more money. That's the one negative that I'll say about this new Toyota Tacoma. But otherwise, what are the positives? Nobody's pointing those out. I don't know why. I guess it's because when you're positive, you don't get as many views as when you're negative. But we're going to do it anyway. First of all, the biggest thing is the power, the acceleration, the way that the truck responds. It is awesome. It leaves the 3rd gen in the dust. And I'm not a 3rd gen hater. I've had a lot of 3rd gen Tacomas. I love the truck. This one is just simply better. It's a step forward. Also, the 8-speed transmission. Now, that probably has some to do with why this truck is quicker. We all know that this is a 4-cylinder turbo, which a lot of people don't like. I don't really understand why myself. My biggest concern when I bought this truck was whether it would have enough power as compared to the 3rd gen. As long as it met that, I was golden. I'm golden. It does. The 8-speed transmission, long overdue in the Toyota Tacoma. Another area where the 4th gen is better than the 3rd gen. And you can't argue that. I get comments still to this day, all the time, about how bad the transmission is in the 3rd gen. Always gear hunting, never wants to stay in 6th, always riding in 5th or 4th. All kinds of issues. We don't have that anymore with this 8-speed transmission in the new Tacoma. Much better. Next up, ride quality. Of course, they changed the suspension, they changed the rear, and it is for the better. Now, if you like bouncing around in a more rugged ride, then I guess I'd understand why that would be a negative for you. It's not for me. The smoother, the better. And it certainly is a leap forward in the 4th gen as compared to the 3rd when it comes to suspension. It is awesome. It almost feels luxury car-like. And I know a lot of people are going to jump on that comment. Well, that's because it is a car. It's not a truck. That's like the 2-wheel versus 4-wheel drive argument. If you don't have a 4x4, you're not driving a truck. I would argue if you have to have a 4x4 to drive a truck, you don't know how to drive a truck. Anyway, the ride quality is far superior, in my opinion, to the 3rd generation Tacoma. What about build quality? There's been people on here dogging the new truck about build quality, and I don't get it. I haven't found anything wrong in this truck. The paint, the fit and finish, the way the panels come together, everything is spot on. They did an excellent job with this truck. Now, there is one thing, full disclosure, that I'm going to have to mention, and that is the hood. It does seem that there's a bit more flex in the hood. As I'm driving along and wind is coming at the front of the truck, and I'm not going very fast, 45 mile an hour, but when I go over bumps and things, I can see some flex in the hood right up in front of the windshield. Is that a problem? I don't see it as a problem. It's just the way it is. I'm sure if you were to look around all of the other panels and mirrors and areas on the truck, any truck, you would find movement. Things are going to move. I mean, heck, the bed articulates from the cab, right? Does that mean there's a problem? Of course not. It does not. So I don't see any issues with anything like that. People are commenting that the interior looks cheap. Now, I was one of them. I had mentioned in a previous video when I had first driven the truck, not this one, that it looked a bit cartoonish inside. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if that truck had a different interior. Maybe things were different. I don't know. I don't know if it was just the newness of it for me, but I don't feel that way anymore. And I didn't feel that way from the first day that I jumped in this new Tacoma, after I had driven the original one, which was I guess it was a silver TRD Sport, the same as what this is. So it couldn't have been different. I don't know, but I really don't notice anything like that. Maybe it was just the newness of it, and maybe that's what people are experiencing. I'm not exactly sure. Now, there is a big problem going on out there with a lot of the chatter, people dogging the new Tacoma, and that is they haven't driven it. That's what really makes no sense to me. Typically, when I ask somebody after they're so negative about this new truck, whether they've driven or not, the answer is no. They say that they're either paying attention to what other YouTubers or what reviewers are saying about the truck, but they don't have any first-hand knowledge themselves. So how can you make a call on whether the truck is good, bad, or indifferent if you've never even sat in the driver's seat and driven one? A lot of these folks haven't even seen one in person, only in pictures and stuff. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, except in one area, and that is the people who are trolling. Possibly other car manufacturers who are either paying or suggesting that people get on and post negative things about the new Tacoma. That makes sense to me because the new Tacoma, or Tacomas in general, we don't know about the new one yet, but previous versions of the Tacoma are number one. It's the best-selling mid-size truck in the market. So of course, the other manufacturers are going to do things, although I think that's a bit under the table myself, but they're going to do things to try to tarnish the image of the Tacoma. And it's a perfect opportunity for them to do that, right? There's a new truck out, it's untested in the public, and it just screams to put negative things out there to try to steer people towards your own trucks, your own manufacturing company. I mean, can you imagine how much negative pub can get out if you just pay, I don't know, maybe 100 people and you give them a script and you tell them, I want you to go out to as much social media as you can find and type in this script, negatively shedding light on, in this case, the new Toyota Tacoma. I'm not saying that's happening, but I have heard of much worse things in the manufacturing or business world, and this is probably something that I'm guessing is going on. Anyway, I just wanted to get on, address that a little bit. There are a lot of benefits or positives to this new Tacoma, particularly when you compare it to the third gen. I have no doubt that a majority of folks, once they actually are able to jump in, drive one, see it in person, are going to feel the same way that I do. I wouldn't go back to the third gen after having this truck. Nothing wrong with the third gen. This one is just better. Leave a comment. Let me know. What positives have you heard about the new Toyota Tacoma? No negatives. I want to hear what you've heard that's positive about it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.